The USS Iowa submarine will be commissioned next week, and a well-known Iowan has been working behind the scenes to make it happen. I'm talking about ship sponsor and former First Lady Christy Vilsack. We're talking about a state-of-the-art nuclear-powered submarine. Thanks for being with us today.
Happy to be here. It's an honor to be the sponsor of the USS Iowa.
What is a ship sponsor?
Well, it's a tradition of the Navy that whenever a ship or a boat is christened, that the ship sponsor, most people know about a woman who crashes a bottle of champagne on the boat. And so I did that 2 years ago when we christened the boat. That was a ceremony more about the people who made the boat. But the sponsor, the Navy has had sponsors for boats and ships since around 1846. So it's a long tradition and the sponsor is the person who takes care of the crew and the officers and their families. So that is my responsibility for the rest of my life.
And we've been showing here kind of a close-up of this replica that you brought.
Yes.
I made sure to send a note to everyone. Please do not use old video of the USS Iowa battleship, because that is not what we're talking about today. This is brand new.
This is, and it's the most sophisticated, fast attack Virginia-class submarine in the world right now. And in 2 weeks, we're going to commission it, which means that it will become the property of the Navy and part of the naval fleet. So for the past 2 years, they've been testing it out, making sure it works, and now the Navy's going to accept it.
I love the pictures that we're seeing from the christening and all of that. Tell us what it was like to be involved with all of that history and pomp and circumstance.
Well, it took, I was first named sponsor in 2015 when the Secretary of the Navy called to ask me to do it, and I said I would. That was 10 years ago. So I've been climbing around. I've been going to Groton, Connecticut, climbing around inside this submarine when it was still in pieces and they were just building it. So I've been involved in every part of it, including my initials were welded in front of a very large group of people in Groton. My initials were welded into the keel. So the Navy's big on ceremonies, and so a welder welded my initials into the keel of the submarine when they were first building it.
Amazing.
So I've been a part of this for a long time. I've been to family picnics. We've had more than half of the crew has been to Iowa. The first thing I did with them, they came out, a bunch of them, to help cut down trees after the derecho. They've been to Hawkeye games, and they've ridden RAGBRAI and been to the state fair.
They're honorary Iowans.
They are, definitely, and some of them are real Iowans. There are a few members of the crew who are Iowans.
Okay, give us a few of the details of when the official commissioning is happening.
Yes, so the commissioning is on April 1st. We'll have about 600 Iowans there, but the really special people that I have gotten to know in Iowa are the members of the commission. These are, many of them are veterans, sub-vets, and they took the responsibility of organizing this whole party. And we're very excited about it. I'll be out there with the crew and their families on Thursday night, and then Friday night we have a bunch of, the governor's coming, some of the congressional delegation, the university presidents, lots of 600 Iowans. So we're really looking forward to showing them a good time. And the final thing after the commissioning ceremony itself, which will happen in the water, the submarine is now in the water, will be a state fair luncheon. So it'll be a mini state fair sponsored by the state fair.
Who doesn't love that?
Oh, absolutely.
All things Iowa. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm honored to be here, and thanks for inviting me.
Okay, and Janae and Jerry Ann, we'll send it back over to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Erin. Yeah.